Blog Talk Radio.
Conscious community. This is Rahchamah, and you're listening to Rahchamah's Conscious Couch. Today, our special guest is the return of Sophia Stewart. And in the meantime, we're going to run a few commercial breaks, and we will be back Hi, I'm Rahchamah. Need office space, a business phone system, or a business address for your home-based, mobile, online, expanding, or downsizing business? Go to www.businessfront.space. You can reserve fully furnished private office or meeting space by the hour, utilities and Wi-Fi included. Reserve now at www.businessfront.space. Never miss your mail with our informed delivery service. No matter where you are in the world, sign up for a physical address today at www.businessfront.space. Calling all singers, rappers, musicians, and entertainers. Yah Heard Radio has radio promotion for you. Yah Heard. Download our app, Yah Heard Radio. That's YAHHEARD Radio from your Google Play Store today. Yah Heard Radio provides a commercial platform for independent artists. Tune in our live stream at www.yahheardradio.com and join our international listeners for commercial-free clean music in all genres. Have your music played among the best. Build your fan base, receive licensing and royalty opportunities. For promotion or more information, go to our Contact Us page at www.yahheardradio and create your login credentials for access to log in to sign up. For more information, call 904-900-5517. Yah Heard. Looking for a new business opportunity? Join Hemp Now Legal by sending an email to theconsciouscouch@gmail.com. Farmers are quitting tobacco and turning to hemp, and so should you. Join Hemp Now Legal by sending an email to theconsciouscouch@gmail.com. Hemp is the #1 superfood and healer, giving you protein, omega-3 fatty acids, magnesium, zinc, and fiber. Boost your metabolism, support weight loss, immune function, depression, and anxiety. Visit Hemp Now Legal by sending an email to theconsciouscouch@gmail.com. P.O. boxes are outdated, and digital mailboxes are in. Worry about missed or theft of mail or packages when you're not home? Want to know what's in your mailbox without having to get in your car and catch a ride to the post office? Do you have a need for an alternative address or phone number to use instead of your home address and personal phone number? What if you could get rid of the paper clutter by scanning and storing documents all in one place? Your mailbox address works like any street address. We take a picture of the mail and upload it to your account and notify you. You log in from any device and with one click tell us what you want us to do with each one. You'll love your digital mailbox at www.businessfront.space.
You don't have to lose your home due to foreclosure. You don't have to worry about child support. You don't have to be in credit card debt. Have no fear. Tarhaka Armana El Bey is here at newdebtelimination.com. Got student loans, child support, mortgages? Contact someone who's got the experience and the knowledge to get you back under God's law. That's Tarhaka Armana El Bey. He's been there, he's done that, and he can prove it. Just give him a call at 904-303-9061. That number again is 904-303-9061. And log on to newdebtelimination.com. That's newdebtelimination.com and get yourself free.
He is the last of his kind. All that remains of a once powerful nation. Some think he is a myth. Some believe he is the chosen one, who will bring balance to a world at war. And some will stop at nothing to to destroy him.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Rahchamah's Conscious Couch. And I am your host, Rahchamah. Today's guest is Sophia Stewart, returning back, and we're going to delve into more about learning more about who is behind the scenes other than being the prolific writer, Sophia Stewart. But also we're going to get into, just like she was saying on our last show, getting to the law aspect and just showing a little bit of her talent as far as her degrees in paralegal and law and how she used those techniques in winning her case on the civil side. Other than being a child prodigy, a prolific writer, poet, and creative genius, which are just a few of the terms used to describe Sophia Stewart, Stewart entered the City of University of New York and received her Bachelor's of Arts degree in journalism and majors in law and psychology. While attending the university, she studied under the guidance of many celebrated authors and writers such as Max Siegel and former journalist of the New York Times, publisher, editor, essayist, and critic Amelia Tapoya and Paul Sherry, a playwright for Broadway. She also served as an intern for television at the public broadcasting station WNET 13, where she worked with Oscar Award-winning film documentary producer Perry Miller Adato. Her graduating class was honored with a special letter citation from President Jimmy Carter, and in 1979, her love and skill for writing motivated her to move from New York to Los Angeles, where she studied cinema at the University of Southern California, USC. It was there she had the opportunity to study film under the auspices of producer Leon Roth, father of Eric Roth, screenwriter of the movie Forrest Gump. By the early 80s, she had started writing professionally, and it was through her association with the Jacksons and entertainer Janet Jackson that she became involved in a special project that enabled her to write her first television script entitled My Special Love and Blue Short. During this period, Ms. Stewart also had the opportunity to work at Columbia Pictures in the office of Vice President Dick Barris and producer Brendan Cahill. It was at Columbia Pictures where Dick Barris supported her aspirations to write and gave Sophia 5 first draft scripts. One was called From Here to Eternity. She is an accomplished award-winning poet and has published over 100 poems. Stewart, a gifted writer, visionary, has also worked for individual celebrities, which include former Knicks players Dick Barnett, Louis Gossett Jr., and Shelley Winters. Her background is diverse, and many of her writings reflect groundbreaking literature that is undeniably before its time. She has received numerous awards for her achievements over the past few years. After earning the Rosa Parks Award from the NAACP in December of 2005, she also got the Honor Award for empowering the people from the Las Vegas Music Awards in September 2006. And on June 2nd, 2007, she was nominated for the international award called Lifting Up the World with a Oneness Heart, an award offered to people who have made exceptional contributions to the human family. Some of the recipients of this award include Nelson Mandela, Mikhail Gorbachev, Mother Teresa, Pope John Paul, Jesse Jackson, and many others. A mother of the Matrix, as she is affectionately known, wrote her epic, The Third Eye, while she was studying cinema at the University of Southern California. This indigenous work, copyrighted since 1981, is the foundation and contains the core elements of the blockbuster films The Terminator and The Matrix. Stewart's brilliance lies in her ability to create characters, stories, and cinema magic. In The Third Eye, she has transformed comprehensive metaphysical and spiritual concepts into the most revered science fiction films of the 20th century. The Terminator and The Matrix films are among the most artistically phenomenal and financially profitable film franchises in Hollywood's history. These works have currently grossed over $25 billion, won 4 Oscars, and continue to generate revenue internationally. She is currently continuing her epic work in the upcoming Matrix 4 movie and book, which is destined to supersede the extraordinary success of The Matrix and The Terminator and establish her as one of the most profound master writers of the 21st century. You can visit more information at matrixterminator.com, www.matrixterminator.com. Last time that she was on the show as well, we were going over some information about previous interviews that she had with others, comments that were made in reference to the success or of her case, or in various issues about the legalities of her case, and she stated that there were documents that she had to support her claim in her case, in which she did send that paperwork over to the show producers, court paperwork from the United States District Court, where Sophia Stewart was the plaintiff versus Michael Stoller as the defendant, and she did her case pro se. So that was very interesting, and it's very enlightening for those people who fear going into a court case as the plaintiff, even as the defendant. When you have to fight for yourself, no one is going to speak for you better than you would speak for yourself. So it is profound, even though she has a legal background, but still that misnomer that says that one that has herself as a client has a fool for a client. And so as debriefed from our last interview when she did the criminal, of course we know money, power, association, all of those things combined. She was not successful in the criminal aspect of prosecuting her case, but she was successful in the civil aspect. And I guess that's what's most important anyway for a film that grows over $25 billion. She was saying that at first they only offered her, I believe it was $3 or $5 million, and then she turned around and sued for $3 billion, and have a lien as the date they only paid her only a portion of it. The United States District Court, and if you want to refer to it and look it up, it was an exhibit entered into the case. It's case number 2:07CV552. D as in David, B as in Bravo, dash E as in Edward, J as in John, F as in Frank. And there seemed to have been exhibits that she put in, not only just the oral testimony by herself, but Arthur Gooseby, non-destructive technician, William International, Katie Reenan, regional leader, Primerica Financial, David Byers, administrative assistant, Legal Services Inc., Wallace Skip Dulcher, vice president of AEOM, Art Tishima, CPA, senior consultant partner, Art Tishima and Associates, LLC, and descriptions of exhibits. Not only were there protected expression, 45 seconds of 1 minute and 45 seconds of video, but she put into exhibit the Matrix DVD, the Matrix Reloaded DVD, Matrix Reloaded DVD, Animatrix DVD, the Matrix video game CD, the Terminator DVD, the Terminator 2 and Terminator 3 DVD, 6 pages of the movie treatment, The Third Eye, to show that her works were the same as these works, and her copyright that she filed May 1st, 1981 through February 2nd, 1983. Also, copyright registrations from November of 1983 to February 16 of 1984. And there were certificates of registrations for the Matrix 4, Terminator 5 movie, Matrix 4 Evolution, and Matrix 4 Attraction. Plenty of affidavits, a list of her damages, artwork comparisons, and declarations. So it was very interesting because it goes on and on and on, because she did make insinuations as to other investigations that occurred in the case, as far as FBI investigations that had occurred, as well as the people who were she was suing in this case. So it listed the Warner Brothers. It had FBI documentation, comic book artwork, and some other things. Anyone who has not had the opportunity to go and get her book, you most definitely should go pick up The Third Eye. I hear that it's very interesting, the next book that she is going to be rolling out. And it's going to entail new age technology moving into the Matrix 4, the new movie. In a moment, I'm going to bring on my co-host, Taharka. Taharka, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, Rahchamah. How are you today?
All right, awesome. It's great to have you join us today in this topic. Miss Stewart, she sent a plethora of information, clear as day, to support her claim. And remember, everyone, we're going to try to upload that information so that it can come across, so that you can see it on the screen. And we'll even try to make it available if you go to the Conscious Couch, Facebook at the Conscious Couch. We'll be able to make these documents available. Taharka, what is your opinion of, especially with you working with law documents all the time in commerce, when you're analyzing these cases in the exhibits that she put forth in here? I even see UCC documents that were filed, copyrights that were filed, as well as the court cases. What are your opinion as far as the level of information, exhibits, and proof that she put forward versus the outcome that she had in her case? Which way that you think it should have went or swayed?
Well, based on the information that I've seen, based on the documents that I've seen, in my opinion, I think you did a fine job. You mentioned the UCC one. The UCC is the Bible of commerce inside the United States. And I think a lot of people need to really get a clear, concise understanding about the UCC one. And that way they're able to get more remedy in the court cases that they're having down there. So you're going to have to research it to find out exactly what it is, how to do your UCC1 financing statement, how to put it on your documentation when you're filing your documentation. So as far as the documents are concerned, we're going to put them up over there on Conscious Couch. But they're outstanding. I'm not able to do that right now, but they're pretty good. I haven't gotten a chance to read all the details, but I'm going to go over to take a closer look at what she's doing.
I see that she has a certificate from the Writers Guild of America, West Inc. It's a documentation of registration that the Writers Guild of America, West Inc. issued a certificate to Sophia Stewart for material entitled Matrix 4, The Evolution, Cracking the Genetic Code, following Sophia Stewart as the writer. This is very interesting because she also has another document called Matrix 4 Attraction. And so you would think that, at least I was under the interpretation initially, that it was just that one writing that, everything as far as the movies were derived from. But in actuality, she wrote several writings. And that is the part that interests me, especially to the fact that she's not new to this whole arena of film industry, entertainment, writers. She was working in those industries. And I guess the concern is because she was exposed to that arena, that atmosphere, that she knew exactly what to do, especially with her background in law and in psychology, to follow the necessary steps to protect herself by filing her copyright. And I think that it is amazing that still, regardless that she did file those things, you would think that people of that magnitude, that they would check and see if or not those writings are copyrighted and then work out something with that person in order to do the project together, other than moving forward and doing it their own creative way, which I understand they want to do it their own creative way without any input other than just the writing itself. But I see it as a pattern of inconvenience. They'll move forward with the process, and this is not just only I guess her not only just in business, but even in the legal standpoint, where they just move forward with doing what they want to do and inconvenience you and get what they're going to get up front, and then let you deal with the repercussions in the lawsuit later after they tie you up in court and try to exhaust you and have you to give up first. This is something that is a common practice just in commerce, period. And it's amazingly, I don't see a difference. No respect of persons, whether if it's corporate or legal, because it all has segued into the legal system. What is your take on that, and the measures that people should be able to take to ensure that they hold people who you're doing these registrations and everything with accountable, since they're enforcing stopping bootlegging, licensing, registration? This work is supposed to be protected for like 75 years. What do you have to say in retrospect of that?
Okay. I think he gave me a 25-part question. I don't know which way to start. But as far as registration and license, anytime you hear the word registration and licenses, you got to remember that applies to employees of people who consider themselves to be citizens of the United States Corporation. These are the people who have agreed to contract under licenses and registration. So when you're talking about men and women, that's not attached to that particular matrix of people who are operating in private as men and women, registrations and licenses don't apply to them. For instance, like I think I've mentioned it before, if you are born with a right to do something as a man or a woman, you do not need anybody's permission to do something that would otherwise be illegal. And so if you have a right to travel, if you have a right to bear arms, and so on and so forth, why would you need a license from somebody to dictate to you how to do what you're perfectly competent enough to do? That's my view when it comes to licenses and registration. That's
and
for
employees.
And
I know this topic may be a little bit off topic, and of course we'll go back to this one, but since you just mentioned it, it sparked this thought in my mind that I saw when I was searching on YouTube, and it was about RFID compliance to the new licensing, where you have to have a star on it, and they're changing it up all funky. And they're trying to make all of the states in the United States become compliant with it, where you give not only your personal information orally, but the supporting documents to go along with it, your Social Security card, birth certificate, proof of address as far as mail is concerned, and they upload it all into this database where it's supposed to be kept. And if you don't become compliant by 2020, there are some states they put in some extensions to become compliant. Florida is one of the ones that are already compliant with the RFID. Then you would not be allowed to do certain things as far as traveling on public transportation. And I think that the problem is that people, the way I see it, is that if people are not wanting to be subjected to harassment, the question is, what is the way out when they want to exercise the right to travel without being inconvenienced and tied up in court every single time? Because we have a situation where you have to be self-sufficient in order to sustain. There was a video that I saw that the term, when we were talking about traveling, for example, the term driver was taken from a 1902 term from our Black's Law Dictionary that said that it was someone that was employed because during that time people couldn't afford cars when they first came out. So only a certain class of people had them, and that certain class were people who were, of course, using vehicles for commercial purposes as business commercial vehicles, or they had chauffeurs that were carrying them, taxiing them around. But then the term changed later on, I believe, in the mid or later 1900s, where they changed the term driver, instead of one being employed, to just someone that operates a propelled, propelled. They didn't use the term vehicle or whatnot. Maybe motor vehicle, but something that's propelled. So the term motor vehicle is the component in it is compelled, and they took the term under driver about the employment out. So where do you think that puts people now when they're about the right to travel and driving, when they've changed these terms to kind of mold and fit what the public, or conform to what the public has been trying to segue around and been pointing out to them, by changing it from one that is employed to just one that operates a propelled motor carrier or something like that. Not motor carrier, I have to look up the term. But they took all those terms that we argue about out.
Okay, well, it goes back to just like I said earlier. First of all, we're talking about rights of men and women. First of all, you have to. It's all about knowing who you are. That's pretty much the bottom line of knowing who you are. You might have a question. Someone may ask you, well, are you a resident? What does that mean? If you ask me if I'm a resident, what does that mean? So I deal with the rights that I'm born with. I'm a native here. I live in, I don't live in a place called the state of Florida. That we're talking about a state of mind. I live on a land called Florida as a man. I'm not a resident. I was born with the right to travel. I don't need anybody's permission or anything like that. You can change the terminology to satisfy your employees, people who are employees of the corporation. But that doesn't have anything to do with me and the rights that I was born to. This is what I'm willing to defend when it comes to dealing with that right. First of all, opting out of any type of contract that binds you is the first step, and I don't think that we should have to argue and debate about anything. The Supreme Court has ruled over and over and over again about your rights to travel. I mean, it's there. It's over and over and over and over. We got a ton of cases that says that, but I still don't go for relying on that. I just deal with what I know I got a right to do, and that's what I defend. I need you to, if you are a court system or whatever, I just need you to point out to me where what I'm doing is unlawful. I'm not talking about legal and illegal, which has absolutely nothing to do with the law. I'm talking about lawful and unlawful, which leads to the rights you was born with. You understand what I'm saying? And so the United States doesn't interfere with your right to make contracts, so you formulate your contract in that fashion to deliver your contract. That's the way I see that. That's where I've dealt with it.
Well, I guess the problem is that we know there's plenty of case law, but those case laws are Supreme case law, Supreme Court. And we know that local government, why they don't follow it. So because if they did, then people wouldn't be fighting the issue. And I'm not talking about people that are careless and irresponsible. You know who you are out there that takes this type of rights and information about the rights and use it to irresponsibly, to just, go 100 miles an hour through a school zone and just being careless. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about people that are still obeying within the limits, being careful, not careless, and they're being profiled and pulled over because they don't have tags on their vehicles or for whatever reasons, where there is no injured to person property or breach of any type of safety mechanism. Why don't the local government know, recognize, and follow these rights that have been argued, like you said, time and time again federally in the Supreme Court? Why do we have to? Of course, I know it's an educational issue on the law enforcement part because it's on their level of discretion that initiates people into and introduce them into the court system initially. But that is, and I know that falls back on the organization because that means that they're not being informed, they're not being trained, just only maybe on internal policy and procedure, but not in municipal codes, ordinances, and statutes, but not the law that supports the Constitution in which they made an oath to uphold initially. So they're like totally dumbfounded about that. But at least once you go into the system, Because I've met supervisors of policemen like, we don't know nothing about all of that. Just let us do our job, give you the ticket. You handle that in the court system where they handle all of the interpretation and all of the judicial enforcement about this. So why is it even when you get to that level, on the state level, that the local government don't know, or if they do know, don't recognize it and don't follow it? Why we have to fight?
Well, the problem that we are facing as people inside the United States, first of all, a large segment of the population still don't know. They think that it is normal for us to be police, taxed, robbed, all the things. They think it's actually normal. A lot of us don't know nothing about our rights. Then the situation and the problem that we have in the United States when it comes to traveling and our right to bear arms and stuff, this is something that we are supposed to deal with as men and women in mass. When I say in mass, I'm talking about in mass. Let's look at the people that created an agenda for stopping abortion clinics for operating. What did they do? They started killing doctors. Period. You see what I'm saying? See this thing here. They're gonna. This thing will get worse and worse and worse and worse until people start acting in mass. When we come in, when we stop and think, now, wait a minute. You got statutes, ordinances, rules and regulations, and all this stuff. Is that law? So when we come to the realization of determining whether that's law or not, then we start doing something about the situation. Either you have a right or you're going to forfeit that right. As far as the traveling is concerned, we got people dealing with this stuff in isolated pockets across the United States. But what needs to happen involving this situation is we need to deal with this in all 50 states in mass. In mass. You gotta let the so-called government know, hey, jig is up. We ain't doing this no more. We don't need to identify ourselves to you. If we put you in office to serve us, why do we need to be enslaved by you? And this is something we're going to have to deal with in mass. And until we do that, things are going to get worse and worse and worse. Now, the thing I was talking about the abortion clinic thing, you remember what happened? They started killing doctors all over the United States in what? In mass.
Now, I didn't hear about that one.
Oh yeah. Go by. You just type it in the Google. It was all over. Every time you look around, they out there. They going in the abortion clinic, killing the doctors. They killing them before they go in. They killing them in the building, and they killing them when they come out. That's how they deal with the situation because they knew that this was not going to change. It's going to get worse and worse and worse. So anytime you have a situation that's affecting people in mass, in order to stop the situation, you have to deal with it in mass. It's just like when they had they tried to force taxation on the people prior to the whiskey rebellion, and they started sending people on their own land and making their own whiskey, enjoying life and not bothering anybody. They selling the whiskey among each other. They're making profits from it. Everybody having a good time. But somebody come up with the idea, well, they got all the money, got all the whiskey, so we need to send somebody over there to collect taxes, and we need to forget about the fact that we left Europe to get away from excessive taxation. And now that we come over here, now somebody else come up with another idea to start taxing us again. So what the people done was, in mass, when the internal tax collectors come to the land, talking about collecting some taxes, they shot them. Some of them they tarred and feathered. Some of them they killed. They sent a message: don't come here with that. We're not a part of your society. We are free, and we intend on being free. So what they had to do was they turned around and led other people in the towns to believe that these people over here that's got it right and stopping the taxation and stopping us from robbing them, they are the enemy, and we need to band together so we put them down. That's what's happening. That is what happened during the Whiskey Rebellion.
So what are some things that we can do in mass outside of violence, in the time and the era that we live in today?
Well,
to be able to get
what we need to do is we could do a mass mailing and let them know, send it to your senator or your congressman, and let them know when you get 3, 4, 5, 600,000 letters, let them know that we have no intention of using your contracts anymore, because we got a right to travel. We have no intention to be identified by you and stopped at random by you just identify ourselves. We're not doing that anymore. All you do is just let them know. Now, just like when they came and killed Randy Weaver in Ruby Ridge, the FBI got this man on it. He tried to sell a shotgun to a FBI agent. Okay. Now the FBI agent bought the shotgun, so now he gonna turn around and try to come out there to the man's property. He on his own land, and they out there in the wilderness. They got the guns strapped to him. His wife got a gun. He got guns. His son got guns, and they don't come out there and try to serve a warrant on the man. The man told him, "Hey, don't come back out here no more with that. I'm on my land, don't come in no more." So what the feds did was they come out there, stormed the man's land. They shot the man and killed him, shot his son, and blew his wife's brains out. She's standing there with a baby in her arms. But she had a pistol and a gun holster on her side. They shot her with a high-powered rifle and blew her brains out. And then we had 2 more gentlemen that turned around. Because of that, went up into Oklahoma with a flatbed truck with 55 gallons of ammonium nitrate in diesel fuel. You know what that is? And pulled it right up there to the FBI headquarters and blew the natural dome off it. That's what they did.
That's the part that they don't tell, with that aspect of the story that make it seem like the incidences were part and partial. Like one didn't have anything to do with another because, they deemed it as terrorist activity. But when that seemed like total terrorist activity, when they went there and just started shooting up people, especially a woman that's holding a baby.
Well, I was always taught, I was educated by men. And there's only one way to deal with a bullet. And I was taught that. I'm not a rebel rouser. I don't get out trying to protest. I ain't marching in the streets. I don't do none of that. I just deal with solutions to problems. Solutions. That's how I deal with it. As a man. That's what, and I feel like if we are men and women, then we should act like it. You know, that's where I see it, and that goes with everything: peace, safety. When you mentioned about driving, traveling on the road, you come to a stop sign, you want to stop because we're talking about if you do not stop, you're running the risk of creating a problem for yourself. There are laws that we can see and laws that we can't see. If you go around a curve, that curve is marked 30 miles an hour. You go around that curve doing 65 and 75 miles an hour, you're going to break the law of centrifugal force. You're going over the embankment. And I had a guy that I worked with. He did that, and he dead. He killed. He got himself killed doing that. But so we're talking about taking personal responsibility. See, we don't want to think that because we got the right to travel, that gives us the right to speed through a school zone at 75, 85 miles an hour. No, we want to be responsible. We want to be sane and competent. You know, we know the rules and regulations. We got the lights, we got stop signs. These signs are there for a reason, but it does not give anybody the right to tax us. We're men and women. We're supposed to be responsible. Now, we got these law enforcement and all this stuff in place, and you still got people speeding right down in front of my house, 75, 80 miles an hour. Still doing the same thing, so it really doesn't matter. And they started out with no seatbelt, okay, no helmet. All right, and then people started getting killed and head crushed and all this stuff. So now they came out with a law. It's mandatory for you to have on a seatbelt. And then they discovered that people were getting killed with the seatbelt and still getting killed with the helmets on and stuff. So they said, well, now you don't have to wear the helmet no more. Oh, man. All kind of stuff. But if everybody take personal responsibility for themselves and be completely sane and handle your situation in a sane man or woman fashion and not as somebody's slave or somebody's property or somebody's puppet. I don't do that. I deal with right and wrong, lawful or unlawful. I don't deal with nothing about no illegal, legal, illegal. I don't deal with none of that. No, that doesn't have anything to do with the law. That's just my opinion. That's how I do.
So are you saying that if someone is not obeying the natural law, that they are subjected to it? So are you saying that if someone is not following the natural law, that they are subjected to the encounter with an officer for not obeying those natural laws?
Well, you can have encounters with them each kind of way it goes because we don't understand who they are. First of all, we need to find out who are they. You know, what if we got policemen? How did this start? What is the origin? How did they come into existence in the first place? Because if there was a time when they were not in existence, what was it that brought them into existence and has their existence and their activity and their behavior toward men and women changed? And you discover after you do the research, they haven't changed. These people were brought into existence to deal with runaway slaves. And what they're doing now is the same thing. They're dealing with they're regarding the general public in a lot of cases as people that are not human, as animals of some sort. You know, they take out a pair of rubber gloves and put on their hands before they search you, as if you filthy, you dirty, or you contaminated, or you got some kind of disease. That's how they're treating you. But these are slave catchers, and they're doing the same thing that they've always done. They stop you on the highway, and they're asking you for their property. I need to see your driver's license registration. I'm assuming that you are contracting with us. And I want to lead you to believe that in order for you to exercise the right to travel, that you got to have our property. You got to be subject to our rule over you. Well, that's simply not true. But in order to deal with this, we have to deal with this in mass in all 50 states, and everybody on this continent deal with it at the same time. That's how you stop it.
Well, I think that
having a driver's license doesn't affect your behavior. If you dumb enough to go through a 30-mile-an-hour zone at 50, 60, 70 miles an hour, whether you got a driver's license or not, we talking about your behavior. See, you don't want to live under no kind of fear.
Yes, that is true.
Yep.
It is a behavior situation. It's no amount of piece of paper or a card that could change that behavior. I know that they've had all of these things in place with, wanting to capture your identity and put all these papers on you due to the 911, the Patriot Act, and it says all in the name of national security. What about that?
Well, it's the same thing. It's all designed to rule over what they have determined is their property, their subjects, the people that they have rulership over. And but those are the people that people that are subject to that are the people that go along with that. These are people who are not prepared. And I always tell people all the time. I always tell my sons, and in any woman that I've ever dated, learn how to shoot, learn how to survive in the woods and the wildernesses, learn how to break your weapons down, load them, learn about your ammunition, learn about your weapons and stuff, because that's what you got a right to do. You want to be confident. Because anytime you approached by a man or a woman with a gun, your life is in danger, period. What these people are doing out there in the streets, they're acting as highwaymen. They're robbing you. You don't come to a complete stop at a stop sign, you owe me money. If you don't cut on your blinker, you owe me money. You could be driving, say 45 miles an hour. He hiding around the corner. You come by 50 or 55. He pull you over. You owe me money. You ain't got a driver's license. You owe me money. Your tail light out. You owe me money. You see what I'm saying? This is robbery. And they had it going on down here one time. They were just stopping brothers, planting drugs on them, and locking them up. And it got so bad they found out about it, and they kicked the cops off, the folks that was doing it, and they went and let everybody out that they had arrested. That happened, I think it was in the early 90s and stuff. I remember that when that happened. But the key is your own coming into the knowledge of your own personal identity and having your own skills in training. How well do you shoot? What weapons do you have? What skills do you have? What skills and training do you have? See that, because we're talking about equality. And I always tell a story about it was a man one time. His name was Willie J. And they cop jumped on Willie J. and his youngest son and beat him up. Beat him up so bad they had to put a boy in the hospital. And Willie J. he called downtown. He said, who is this? Who's the man that jumped on my son? They tried to tell him, well, it was Officer so-and-so. He was doing his job. He's an officer. He said, look, you can save all that. He said, is he in that building right now? Well, we're not allowed to give out that information. He said, I'll be down there in 5 minutes. He came down there. He didn't want to talk about nothing. He just want to know what a man had to be the son of. He didn't get loud. He didn't get bent out of shape. None of that. He didn't want to know where he was.
Well, I do have to say this, is that because it is a behavioral issue and there is lawlessness that is out here, that does impose a problem, like you say, the highway robbery, when every time you get pulled over, you're, in these different contracts. And, of course, they say, well, then don't break the law if you don't want to pay for the law. So it's a serious gray line, that is there. But then, I remember an officer here in Jacksonville said to me, well, you shouldn't have never came into the system, but you can't help it when you come into the system because it's different circumstances. When I first came aware about just something was wrong, within this commerce, within this contract, and within, even with driver license, I had my experience with driver license because I was an HO, I was habitual. I had that. What is that insurance that they give you, that something 22, SR 22 or something crazy like that, where you're high risk? Because I would get tickets for mainly speeding, and some other things. But one day I was coming down. I used to live over in that area off of Pearl Street, off of Chestnut Drive, and there's a school zone that hits right, right off that church, Catholic church or whatever. It's a school zone there, and the time that it starts is 2:30. So I was on the phone. I had made a phone call coming through that area, minutes, doing 30 because you have to break it down to 15. But I was doing like 20. I was doing somewhere between like 25. And the police was hiding in the cut and pulled me over. And about time they made it from their car and approached me, got my information and everything, and came back. It was after the time the school zone had just turned on. So which means they pulled me over earlier than the time was. And I'm like, I live in this area. I know, what the speed limit is and what time it starts, what the school zone is. And so, I was adamant about going to court about it because it really bothered me. But when I had to go to court, I was so sick. I had the flu or something awful. I could barely speak or anything. And, I had the information from the call that I made, that was a witness that I was on the phone, and the time stamp from the time. But they just did their own thing in the court. So I'm like, okay, well, they got that when I wasn't in position. Then I turned right back around, boom, get another ticket for driving with no lights on while the sun was setting, $183 ticket. Now, this is I'm speeding, I'm minding my own business. Yeah, the street lights wasn't even on, but the sun was setting, but it was still light outside. $183 ticket. I went to court to fight that one and brought all of the paperwork, when the time the sun sets and when it rises and all this other kind of stuff and matching up to the time that, but I won that one. And, that kind of, then they came at me again. I get another ticket. Boom. And it's like it was for parking at a meter. But the meter was on the other, it was at the jail J1, and the meter was on the other side of the bushes that was closer to the sidewalk in the street. So in front of me there was no parking, so I thought it was free parking. And I parked there, and when I came out, it was a ticket, and I took pictures, and I protested and fought against that. Went to court, looked up the law that was on that ticket, and found out that the meters were installed improperly. And they still went with a dog and pony show where the judges didn't want to do what was right. They wanted to side with the officer. It was wrong. So, I wrote a letter to the judge, and they dismissed it and said it should have never made it to court. But it's the point that it's this, people say under human rights law, race, color, religion, sexual orientation, and something else, is what's considered discrimination, but it's a new discrimination out here. I call it intellectual discrimination because when you walk into these courts and you walk into any of these establishments and you know something more than the average person, you probably even know more than the person you're standing there talking to, they get offended. And then it becomes personal and it's no longer business. And for them trying to do what is ethically right just goes out the window. So I call that intellectual discrimination. You really need to get that term termed under discrimination. I think I'm going to lobby for that. But that's when I woke up and there was a problem. So I can understand in those instances how, the system we have set up is to protect people from people that are not responsible. But then when you have people that you say are just popping up around the corner and down the street just to put you into this system through their discretion in order to rob you, that is a different situation that has to be dealt with. But at the same token, I think that, I think that the level of discretion that is given to, let's say, officers, for example, because they are the first line of interaction between the citizens, the community, and those people that enter into the judicial system, that there is no supervision and there's no oversight. And I hate the fact when I'm going down the street and I see there's one person in a vehicle, but then there's like 2, 3, 4 police cars for that one individual. And they may even have that person handcuffed, so that person is no longer a threat. And it's just the excessive force, or it's like a level of intimidation with that level of utilizing resources improperly. And it's the whole accountability thing, because here in this city I'm learning, this is a private corporation over here. They do what they want to do. There's no oversight. Then when you look up who the oversight is, you go to there and they say, we just are the record keepers, or, we don't handle anything. Nobody knows where to go to, and they tie you up in this system where you never know what your resolve is, or they tie you up in this system where they try to exhaust you and let your statute of limitations run out from you redressing your grievances about time that you find out that you can redress your grievances. They say, the statute of limitations ran out. But at the same token, we're dealing with a lot of not only just contract law, but a lot of ethic issues, because, I'm sure it's all over the country, because it is all over the country, but I know here in Jacksonville, left and right for years, and it's not anything is even more. I think that because people have access to social media and cameras, smartphones, and technology, that they're able to capture violations and expose them to the public and share it with the public so that they could know that these incidences, and they're not private or localized incidences, because, the officers, when they're violating someone or do something wrong, they're doing it blatantly in the public. It is that no one witnesses to it except for those people that witness to it. But now with technology, we're able to share it with the world, so it's not a rise like they've always been moral and always been doing something right. It's just that it's able to be shared faster and among more people. Left and right, we're getting police officers arrested for all kind of crimes. Just recently, a woman was an officer, correctional officer, beat up a pregnant woman, handcuffed at the jail not too long ago. It was just recently that's in the news now. Fraud, lying, forgery, docs, these are things that, we've always complained about all the time. And, they're, making arrests of their own. But what I'm finding, what the problem is, and this is where I would love your feedback for you to comment on, and it bothers me so bad. So the Florida Times Union, they did this. That's the name of our newspaper here, and they have an online website called Jacksonville.com, and they did this article about 200 police officers being arrested or fired between the last Sheriff Rutherford's administration moving forward for, lying and all other kind of crimes that they were doing. It was actually like over 300, and like almost 100 of them was fired, and out of that 200, half of them were suspended, and then out of the other half, they were demoted or, some of it, or reprimanded in some type of form or fashion. But what the part that bothers me is they pulled up a complaint history on the officers that goes in their jacket. Citizens may complain about ongoing behavior, and because of these quote-unquote internal affairs, with them handling everything, internally, the citizens don't know what the result is for it, and they give an opportunity just to speak to them and make things right. The people that actually didn't get suspended, demoted, or fired until they launched the internal affairs because it was really egregious. Maybe it got out to the public, it leaked out to the public, or they lied to whoever was doing the investigation, saying they didn't do X, Y, and Z, or didn't say X, Y, and Z. It could have been a minor lie. And that's under the terms that they were fired, demoted, or suspended. But why is it they didn't get demoted, fired, or suspended for the things they did wrong to the community? Where are we in society where the people who our money, our tax paying dollars to protect and to serve are paying their salaries, and when people are complaining about their behavior, nothing's done with them because they say that they exercise a rehabilitative atmosphere or organization. But that's not what we're getting as the citizens on our end. So how do we reform? How do we make reform? Since, we can't get rid of these institutions, we have to work with them. So how do we fix those issues on a mass level where when we make complaints, we know how they are being handled, and if people are fired, demoted, or suspended, it's because of what they did to someone in the community, not because of they broke the brotherhood, trust within the organization. How do we address that issue on a mass level?
Like I said before, you have to look at the reality of the situation in the totality of this nation, and you're going to have to know exactly what it is that you are dealing with. You are dealing with slave catchers. They're in all 50 states, and it's all about money. The court system don't care anything about your children. The only thing that they care about is money. So my advice to every man and woman in the United States in dealing with this situation, and this thing is a man, is learn how to defend yourself. Learn how to shoot. Get some skill. Go to the woods or go to the gun range or whatever. Get your weapons together, because this thing sooner or later is going to culminate into something real, real ugly. And we got a lot of people that are just going to be victims. And so you got to understand, if you understand the natural things of what I'm saying, anytime you are approached by a man or a woman who has a gun, your life is in danger. And when your children or your loved ones are affected by these people, you have to do something. I'm not talking about going out the street and marching and protest, running down to the courtroom, to the courthouse looking for justice. or write no letters. I ain't talking about none of that. There's only one thing that this monster understands. There's only one way to deal with a bullet. Just one, not two. Just one. But that's my answer to that there. It seems like you got a caller with his hand raised.
Understandable. Well, and I think that, we, have to be bronze. That's the bronze approach. We have to be brains too. And in doing so, we have to, educate ourselves as far as learning how all of the resources that are available to us and how to access them. And having, like you said, what you're talking about is autonomy and control. Having control over the people that we encounter, where we can have an outcome that's in our best interest, and we have to equip our minds with being able to know what our recourses are and how to defend ourselves, because they say mighty is the sword, but mighty is the pen as well. We have a caller that has tuned in. Caller, welcome to Rahchamah's Conscious Couch. How are you doing today?
Fine. How are you? I think that I just actually tuned in, and is Miss Sophia still on the line?
Let me see here. Hold on one second. We're going to be bringing her in later on in the segment, so not yet. After we come back from a commercial break. Is there a particular...
just let me comment on what he was just saying. It's on a bigger level of consciousness than any of us can comprehend. But I have someone on the line that Miss Sophia Stewart actually wanted to talk to years ago, and he's available today. And his name is Clark C. McClellan, SEO Space Shuttle Fleet, Kennedy Space Center, Florida, 1958 to 1992.
Interesting.
Take a break and get her on the line. That would be great.
Okay, well, I will put you on hold in the queue, and when we come back from commercial break, we'll chime in. Just stay in queue, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right, everyone. Okay, great. So I like the fact of the way that, there's different situations, for everything. And I like the way that in this instance, because you have issues that are directed criminally, you have issues that are directed civilly. And so in the case of Mrs. Sophia Stewart, she did the mighty is the pen to the paper approach. And one of the things that were acknowledged by the court is that they did admit to all of her factual allegations when it came to her claim. And, it's about accountability and holding these people accountable so that we can be able to have a record that an event did exist, that it did happen, the way that we say that it happened. And there are so many changes that are being rolled out here and has been intertwined between social media, entertainment, and the legal system, with the separation from companies that we're dealing with through contracts, rather if they are exclusive contracts because they're doing business with the government, through private for-profit corporations versus...
I'm going to get anybody that's going to come around just to listen to you talk.
Versus corporations that are, what do they call them? Nonprofit organizations as well. And all of these different agencies all acting together are now mongled together as government. And so now we're having corporations that are having power on a governmental level that are superseding our rights. And so we have to be able to be more educated in civics than anything else. Right now, we're going to go on a quick commercial break, and we'll return in a few moments.
Greetings, beloved, and welcome to the Art Spot. This is the place where we discuss everything about relationships. And in this, our last offering for the year 2016, I want to talk about a very important and often very stressful relationship, our relationship with money. Now, as we enter the season of merriment and giving, or shall I say stressing and buying, it's important to understand and expand our relationship with money. You see, we live in a society where most of us have been trained and conditioned to believe what are called 4 myths about money. I want to address those. Myth number 1, there's not enough money to go around. How many of us believe that? Myth number 2, more money is better. Well, that seems to make perfectly good sense until you get to myth number 3, which is I have to work hard to get money. And then myth number 4, that's just the way it is. It'll always be that way, and there's absolutely nothing I can do about it except to work hard and hope I can get enough to stay afloat. Now, these myths create a way of thinking and living that's based on unexamined and unconscious assumptions that create a consciousness of scarcity and fear that gets heightened at certain times of the year. Now, when it comes to money, so many of us are resigned and discouraged. We attach our personal value and sense of worth to the amount of money or cash that we have or that we have access to. Then we are pressured by cultural beliefs that often uses money in a way that doesn't support us in becoming the best of who we are. And these cultural conditions of stress and upset and lack and fear that are often attached to money are constructed on a foundation of falsehoods, lies. You see, human beings created money, which means it's not a part of the natural order that the Creator, God, Source put in place. Money is now
All right, everyone, welcome back to Rahchamah's Conscious Couch. You're speaking to Rahchamah, and you're on the Conscious Couch. Just as I mentioned before, we have our returning guest, Sophia Stewart, on the line. How are you doing today, Ms. Stewart?
Yes, hi. How are you guys doing?
Awesome. Well, we're glad, we know and understand you had a very, very busy schedule today, and we're so glad that you were still able to tune in with us today. We're going to jump right in it. I did inform our listeners about the information that you sent into the show about the evidence for your cases. We did get an opportunity to go over that in your beautiful bio as well. We have some callers that have a couple of questions that are on the line right now. Caller, are you there? Caller, you're on the air with Rahchamah's Couch and Stewart.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you now.
Yes, I can hear you now.
Hey, Miss Sophia, how are you?
Fine. How are you doing, huh?
I'm doing, even though you don't call me back. It's okay, though.
I know
Remember
who you are, and I recognize your voice. Yes, I do, and I'm sorry that I have not called you back. Your name is Felicia.
That's right. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I know your name, and I know your voice, and I apologize that I never.
It's okay. I know you've been busy.
I've been super busy. I'm sorry, but if you send me a reminder or something, I would gladly return the call.
Yes, ma'am. Remember years ago when I told you I knew a former NASA astronaut by the name of Clark McClellan at Kennedy Space Center, and you wanted to do an interview with him? Remember that?
Yes, I wanted to talk to him, but not do the interview.
Okay, well,
I do interviews, but I do interviews, but I don't.
I mean, you wanted to talk to him. Well, he's available right now for you. Well, he's available to you right now. Okay.
Okay, we'll hook it up because I would love to speak to him.
Okay. Sophia Stewart.
Hello, Sophia.
Yeah, hi. How you doing?
Not so good. I'm in a care facility. I'm in a lot of pain right now.
Yeah, I heard you on the Carrie Camelot show, Carrie Cassidy.
Yeah,
I heard
right.
your interview. Yes, it was phenomenal. And you were talking. I do a lot of alien technology in the Matrix and Terminator. I wrote the Matrix and Terminator. Yes.
I've seen aliens in the space shuttle.
Yes, I heard you telling Carrie Cassidy that. I wanted to tell you something really deep, and I guess these people are going to get a treat. But Homeland Security, when I did the Matrix 4 book, it's been out for 8 years now, but when it first came out way back in 2010, I got a call from Homeland Security, and they sent me some classified information on the spaceship. They told me they could not believe that I had solved the Roswell incident. And I was wondering, what is the Roswell incident? That, because it was the Roswell, those alien ships landed here in 1947.
I know all about it.
Yeah, well, in my Matrix 4 book, they didn't know how the ships was flying, and I was talking about how the ships flew with magnetic ring pulsions and the reversal of gravity, and how they hover and how they hover like a space, like a helicopter, but how they break the time barrier of speed, and how they close invisible. Yeah, I was talking about all of that in the Matrix 4 book, and they sent me over some classified information from Homeland Security. And what I also noticed was on the belly of the ships, they had the ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs. Hieroglyphics.
Egypt is the oldest country on the planet Earth other than Africa.
Right. Yes.
The Egyptians are aliens on Earth.
And I knew that. That is absolutely, yes.
Anyway, you see, the government's keeping me quiet because of all I know.
Yes, that's true. Because you know a lot.
I know a hell of a lot more. I know more than that you could ever guess. I'm going on 80. Can I talk a second?
Yes, go on. How old are you now?
83.
Okay, go on, because I need to talk to you in privacy, too. Go on.
Okay. Anyway, I saw a 10-foot-tall alien creature in a space shuttle mission that 2 astronaut friends were on, and they were discussing things with the alien in the payload bay of the space shuttle.
And you said the aliens, they were black? They were black people, the aliens? You told Carrie?
No. I didn't say that.
Where were the aliens? Were they white?
I have no idea. They had uniforms on.
Oh, they had uniforms on?
Of course, they must have to breathe something like oxygen in order to survive.
Oh, okay, so you didn't know what they really looked like. Okay. No, because I was listening to you telling Carrie, but I didn't quite know what you were saying to her because she kept asking you questions. Go on.
Well, I don't know, but you see, the original race of humans on the planet Earth are the black people in Africa.
Right. Well, the black people were all over the whole Earth, and I don't know why they tried to designate Africa as the source of black people, because it's not. The black people were all over the whole entire planet.
Well, wherever they were, I have no idea that.
Yeah, well, no, they were all over.
Okay, I didn't know that.
They didn't just originate from Africa. They were on the whole planet.
Okay. Well, yeah. That's good.
Yeah, but I mean, they always reference Africa, but I don't know why. Because when they talk about, they act just like it was nothing but Africa and America that black people were at. But that's a lie. They were over the whole entire planet.
Of course, they won't let everybody know that. And listen, there was another sighting of a 10-foot tall alien in another space shuttle mission. A friend of mine he called me and said, Clark, I saw the same type of 10-foot tall alien in the space shuttle crew compartment. The space shuttles were made for only 6-foot people or smaller. 10 feet tall, 4 feet higher than that.
Wow.
Bending over because it was the helmet it had on was hitting the ceiling of the space shuttle.
And so he was standing over you, or the friend told you he was standing over him?
Say it again.
I was asking you, you said that your friend called you and told you there was a 10-foot alien. Was it standing over him or was it standing over you?
I wasn't in that space shuttle mission. This was the second mission of the space shuttle.
Him.
There were at least 2 space shuttles. May I talk, please?
Yes, go right ahead.
There were at least 2 space shuttle missions that had a 10-foot tall alien in the mission. And there were 2 astronauts with it in the space shuttle payload bay. That's the one I was able to see. And the other one was in this space shuttle crew compartment. And the space shuttles were made only for 6-foot humans or smaller. So that was 4 feet higher than they were designed to be able to hold. It was bending down in order to not hit its helmet on the space shuttle ceiling.
Yeah, well, I kind of knew they were 10 feet because when you go back to Akhenaten and over there in Egypt, Nefertiti's there.
May I speak?
Yes, go right ahead.
Akhenaten and Nefertiti, I suspect, were both at least part, if not alien.
Yes. Yes, I was just talking about how tall they were. That Nefertiti's was 10 feet tall and Akhenaten was 17 feet tall. I think their son was 6 foot, the baby.
I never heard of their heights being that high.
Yeah, well, it was talked about in certain books that they said that they were very tall people.
Very tall. Listen,
and that they,
Akhenaten.
Yeah, go on.
Akhenaten, can I speak, please?
Yes, go right ahead.
Akhenaten was an Egyptian pharaoh. He wasn't 10 feet tall, and Nefertiti wasn't that tall either. But I do suspect that they probably may have been aliens, no matter what height they reached.
Well, the Bible talks about quite a lot of giants at the time of Akhenaten and Nefertiti. And these giants, they found some of them over in Iraq right now, and some of them were at great heights. Yeah.
Oh, yes, I know that. History is lying. History is maneuvered to lie to the human races. We've got evil in politics. That's the problem.
That's why a lot of this has been covered up, and the truth needs to be revealed to the people because they're dumbing down the people. The people are so dumb that it's incredible. How could you have this great technology at your hand, and you can Google and you can research? You don't even have to go to the library. The internet has the greatest, reaching all kinds of information and knowledge. Yet the people don't even know how to apply it practically to use it.
That's because of the evil we have in politics. Politics is an evil thing on earth in every nation.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. The cabal does not want the American or any people on earth to wake up, because when you wake up, you have this great creativity, some of us here on earth, and we can create some of the most phenomenal inventions, some of the most phenomenal stuff that's ever realized if you realize who you are.
That's right. So anyway, what else did you want to ask me?
I would like to talk to you in privacy concerning my work and the alien technology that I'm talking about, the virtue stuff that I introduced in the Matrix, the virtue hologram clone that people are seeing in the Black Panther movie was snatched right out of my book. My book is 8 years this year, 8 years from 2010. And I'm talking about the virtue hologram clone that Neo and Morpheus is riding in. And I'm talking about the new machines that are called the hologram terminators that are coming, and the new terrain of the earth. And this is real technology that I'm describing in Matrix 4 book, the same way when I described it in the Third Eye Matrix book that the Matrix and Terminator movies come from. And that book I was talking about body scanners and food scanners in 1980. I was talking about computerized warfare with drones, body scanners, food scanners, and I was also talking about the Illuminati, the Trilateral Commission, the Federal Reserve, the Rockefellers. The Rockefellers was talking about the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers.
Well,
so I would like to, discuss this new alien technology in the ships that I created in Matrix 4 with you in a private conversation, and go over some of the documents they sent me from Homeland Security. Go on.
Did you ever open my website?
No, but if Felicia will give it to me, I will go on it. She can text it to me, and I'll open it up, and I will look at it and read it before we speak.
You've got to read my website.
Oh, I definitely will do that.
What is your website, sir?
It's www.stargate, one word, STARGATE, and then a hyphen after the E, and then Chronicles, CHRONICLES.com, StargateChronicles.com, hyphen. It's a hyphen between Stargate and Chronicles. Did you get it?
Felicia, send that over to me, hon.
Years ago. Okay. But you didn't read it, did you?
No, but I this is my first time hearing about your website. I didn't know anything about it, but I will definitely check it out when I finish the interview. I will definitely check it out.
You're going to have to check out my website. There's one hell of a lot on that website that maybe you could use.
Yes, I can imagine. It probably will connect with the information that I already know, or the information that I've already put out in several of my books, because I've not only a screenwriter, but I'm also an author and a producer and a paralegal.
Yeah.
So, it connects, it'll probably connect.
You won a lawsuit, right?
Yes, I did, and I won it pro se. I beat 7 law firms out, and I only have 20 credits in law.
You should get paid.
Yeah.
You should get a lot of money back from that.
Oh, I have gotten a lot of money from that. I own like $3.5 billion in properties. I own their properties, and I got cash money also from legal fees. I also won almost $500,000 in legal fees.
That's wonderful. If you would think of this, I am absolutely in poverty. Okay?
What are you doing in poverty? You're one of the NASA scientists. You were a NASA scientist from what year to what year?
From 1958 to 1958 to I was in it for 34 years.
Yeah, you were one of the most, so from 1958 to 1996.
Yeah.
You're one of the most world famous NASA scientists. And Felicia did not introduce you. She should have told the people who are listening to you, because you're on a radio interview right now. They're interviewing me, and they need to know who you are. You would say your name for everyone to understand who you are, so
All
they
right,
can understand the prestige of who you are.
I'll say my name right now. Clark C. for Charles. Clark C. McClellan, M. small c, capital C, Lelland. And I go by the title SCO, capital S with a small c and an O, capital O, S, a small c, capital O, spacecraft operator. That means astronaut.
Yes. That's what people should know who you are. This is a very phenomenal honor to meet you and to be speaking with you, because you're 83 and you have a lot of history and knowledge that's real time, and people need to know who you are and what we're talking about today, that Matrix and Terminator and what you experience is real, and you were experiencing way before I was even born or thought of. You had already seen this stuff and know all about this stuff, and that's why I give great honor and respect to you.
My family had 6 people working in the space program.
Yes, and I'm just very grateful that you are still here with us and you're able to give us this phenomenal history, because I told on my interviews and another interviews when all the baby boomers pass away, these Gen X and millennials are going to be kind of lost, because the baby boomers, before the baby boomers, they've all experienced history. They have actually seen the history being made, and after they leave the earth, they're going to start recreating a whole nother reality of history and a whole nother thing of life for these Gen X and millennials.
Okay. Listen,
another world.
Listen, please, if you would, maybe you'll consider being able to send me some money to help me. I'm in poverty.
Let me ask you this. Why are you in poverty? What happened? Because
hold on. Hold on.
He's getting a little tired. He's in poverty because he felt that humanity didn't know what the truth was, and NASA stripped his benefits, and he's stripped down to $1,200 a month in Social Security, basically.
Took his money away from him?
Yeah. He's supposed to be making $200,000 a year in retirement, and because he felt that humanity needed to know what the truth was, they fired him. He's working at Disney, and he's living off Social Security. And he's in a nursing facility right now, and I'm help taking care of him. And I've told you about this.
Well, listen, I got to finish this show up. I'll call you back.
Yes, ma'am.
Give me tomorrow to connect with you. Call me tomorrow for sure. Choose the time, and we'll connect. But I have to finish this show.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay?
Go ahead and finish the show, but you have my number and my email.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Take care.
Bye. All right. Bye-bye. Are you
thank
still,
you.
Are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Are there any other callers? Are there any callers? Or go ahead.
Okay. Yes, I just wanted to thank the caller for having that special guest on the line to speak with us and provide that information. Again, everyone can check him out at stargate-chronicles.com. It's a very interesting site that has a lot of his work and a bio on him as well, which is the 1958 spacecraft operator. Miss Sophia, you were talking about the technology that you were mentioning to him that is in the Matrix 4 book. And and the information that was sent over to you by Homeland Security. So you're saying that in your book, the latest one, the newest one that you just created, so this was just recent information that they just sent you about thanking you for telling them how this craft operated after all these years?
The book I just created, what was the question about what operated all these years? What did you say? I didn't understand you quite clearly.
You were saying that Homeland Security sent you some documents, some classified documents in reference to you revealing in your latest book how the spacecraft in Roswell worked. After all this time,
you just heard them. You just heard the NASA scientist. That guy is world famous, Clark McCullum. He was on the Carrie Cassidy show. I heard him on there when she interviewed him. She interviewed me also and broke my story that I wrote The Matrix and Terminator, because she's big about telling the truth. And just like he had just said, and you just heard him say that was true, because he was there when they got those alien ships and they didn't know how they flew. So Homeland Security, they got autographed copies in the FBI, and they called me up and they were like, wow, you solved the Roswell incident. Because in the Matrix 4 book, these are the alien ships. They sent me pictures from Homeland Security, which I'm going to send you over that classified information. I'm going to email it to you. You just ask me for an email, I'll send it to you right after the show. And you can look at it with your own eyes. And just like he said, I was talking about how they flew. They didn't know how they flew, that it was magnetic ring pulses and the reversal of gravity and how they cloak invisible. And just like I was saying that they stole the virtual hologram virtue car right out of the Matrix 4 book. If you guys had read the book, like a lot of the fans around the world, you would have busted the people in the Black Panther, would have been busted, like when my fans busted them. Because my fans, they've read my book.
Yeah, I got the information. Of course, I saw the, before I had learned about you, I saw the movie prior to, and then after reading the book, it is a shocker. You're like, oh my gosh, it was in there. So, that was pretty interesting, to see all the different areas in this science fiction that you're contributing to. How far off are we from the technology that we have today and transitioning over? Where can you bridge the gap when you see the technology we're using today? How far off are we from actually utilizing the technology that's in your book?
Well, a lot of the stuff that I've been talking about in The Matrix and Terminator is beginning to be a reality now. But I wrote it in 1980, and it just now, 35 to 40 years, it becomes a reality. So the new stuff, it may be 15 or 20 years up the road. The new stuff, the new technology, alien technology that I'm talking about, that me and the NASA scientist was just talking about, it's right around the corner, like 15 years or less, because technology is moving pretty fast.
And the level of technology you're talking about, Sophia, it's going over not just with, in the government as far as war technology, but you were talking about even within our criminal justice system as well. There was going to be some implementation of that as well. I remember one of your interviews, you were saying how they have it now where a spacecraft will come and pick you up if you commit a crime, and can detect when you do stuff. And I think it's kind of them getting rid of all of the discretion abuse, or if or not someone really did commit a crime or not. There's supposed to be a system in place that does all that, systematically. Am I, on the right subject?
Wait a minute, you. I'm sorry, I got distracted. I apologize, but I want you to just do the first part of that question, and I'll answer it, and then I'll go and elaborate on the other. What were you saying?
You were saying that, I was saying that I was reading how the technology is not only just dealing with warcraft and just, private space technology, but it's going to be filtering over into our legal systems. Like they're going to be getting rid of our whole legal system we know of today, and it's all going to be systematic where these drones are going to come and pick you up.
I was talking about that. I was talking about, like, just a minute ago on another interview. That's why I had come on this show so late, because I was interviewing at 12 noon, and I was just talking about the virtual penal system that's coming. You know what I'm talking about? These virtual penal systems, where they're going to put laser rings around you, and they're going to use these drones to scan you and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So, in the future, in the Matrix 4 book, it's talking about how they'll have these drone transporters, and these drone transporters are going to be bigger. Like, these drones are little now, but they're going to be in all kinds of sizes, and they're going to be different kinds of things just to spy on you and stuff. And then they're going to have these scanners at the airport where you don't need any paper anymore, because you can fake those, put in fake pictures and all that, and get the paper from, the government. But now they're going to just be scanning you and your bone and your teeth and your retinals and your fingerprints. Everything is just going to be on a universal card, your bank account. This universal card where there are no more judges, no more jury, no more executioner. You become your own judge, jury, and executioner if you can't control your own behavior. And it's in my book, the Matrix 4 book. And when you go into the airport, they're going to scan you to this database. And this is what they bought from Zuckerberg, that Facebook is nothing but this database that the CIA and the government owns. And it's got all your information and the family information and people. And they can actually track you from Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and all the rest of them. They actually can be tracked through your cell phones. Everything is microchipped, all your credit cards, debit cards. They're just low jacks on you. They're low jacking you, tracking you, listening in through your phones and through drones and other devices. It's just, you're living in the Matrix and the continuations of the Matrix 4 right now and not realizing it. And I wrote about it back in 1980. And in 2010, I wrote about the new stuff, which is 8 years now. So, welcome to the new world of the Matrix. And Terminator, artificial intelligence.
And that's amazing. It's just about 10 to 20 years out from now, because we see the days are going by faster. Technology is being introduced. I know on one of my shows I was talking about some research I did in Japan, that they're rolling out everything that has to do with robotics. They have stores where all of the people that work there, even the factories, are all robots. Some of them look like people, dogs.
Robots are, listen to me, robots are nothing but old metal clankety clank. That's nothing but H.G. Wells' old metal crap. Because H.G. Wells was a visionary born in the metal ages, during the iron industry. And he saw robots as metals. I see robots as clones wrapped in flesh, look like living human beings, don't even know they're naked. That's why they don't have no shame, because they don't got no souls. I'm talking about the advanced artificial, the one like they're calling that, named after me over in Saudi, who's a citizen, and she gets paid a paycheck. Her name is Sophia. But in the Third Eye book and in the Matrix 4 book, her name is Ava. And she started it all.
Oh, wow.
And they're starting it too, but they named her Sophia. But in my book, back in the 1980, her name was Ava. And in the new book, 2010, her name is Ava. You see what I'm saying? So they're already making, and they're already starting it. But it ain't got nothing to do with these old metal robots. It has everything to do with these clones and gender benders and test tube babies and artificial inseminated babies. You see what I'm talking about?
Right.
It's new children that man is creating that looks like you. They don't look like no metal robots and no cyborgs, and they're wrapped in flesh. It's like these GMOs that you're eating, grapes and with no seeds, and watermelon with no seeds, and apples and oranges with no seeds. Those are genetically modified organisms, living organisms that have been transformed and genetically altered to fool your brain. You're eating something that man created. They're not coming out of the dirt of the earth, out of the ground where God made it. Because everything that falls from the seed into the earth, God has grown it.
Right. Yeah, they say, I know I've heard that one. They say if you have a seed, it is genetically modified. One of the things I wanted to cover real quick, too, was on your, after reviewing the information on your case and going by it pro se, what is the key to writing an effective legal brief?
What is the key to writing a legal brief? You said, what is the key to writing a legal brief? Well, I would hope that people would go to school. You would have to go to school and learn to write a legal brief. The key is to go in and study, because I studied law. Even though I'm a prodigy and have 20 credits in law, and I understand systems, but you still got to learn the basics of all things. And then after that, and some geniuses, they don't even have to do that, and some prodigies don't have to do that either, but still, if you want to give some information and to help people, they need to study. They need to go and get a degree, which is 4 years, and the law school is 3 years. And certain states make it mandatory that you do the 3 years, and you get a degree, and then you do the 3 years of law school. Then you take the bar, and then that's the license. So that's what I'm suggesting that you learn. That you go and you learn the procedure and you learn the law. So that way, when you utilize it correctly.
And then in your nonprofit organization that you have, or your foundation that you have that provides some type of legal assistance, I know that you mentioned it in passing in our last interview. Could you just take a minute to give some details about the type of things that it helps people with doing?
Well, on a lot of occasions, like people who have never, ever written a book, I've taught them how to write books. I've mentored them. People who have never written a script or a screenplay, I've mentored them. People who have had personal problems, all kinds of personal problems and other things have happened to them, I have come and I've done the oracle thing and helped them. I do it all the time, because I feel like that's what God put me here for. And this is what the Matrix is all about, is lifting them and unplugging them so they can move onward and upward and be free of the Matrix. But you got to help yourself. Like the guy that was on the NASA Scientist, this man was getting $200,000 and plus, and he's white, and he decided to tell the truth. And there's a lot of people who have decided to tell the truth, and the cabal and all the evil, they're going to try to punish you for that. But you have to go up against the evil cabal and win out with them with truth. There's certain laws that you have to learn, and you got to utilize these laws. If someone is lying on you, you need to beat them by telling the truth and sticking with the truth and putting them down with the truth. If somebody is persecuting you or prosecuting you, then you need to bring in some prayers and a prayer group. And everybody come with those prayers, and it locks them out. Then if somebody is doing you bad or treating you bad, you need to kill them with kindness. You need to come in and then give them some love and keep treating them good when they're treating you bad. And after a while, they'll tell you to please stop. You're killing me with kindness. And kindness does kill an evil person, that energy, because they just can't accept it. So there's a remedy for everything. And some of us know the remedies, and some of us got ideas of remedies, and some of us can give the answers to the remedy. There's a lot of different people out there, so if you need the answer, you need to seek and search. But you got to fight, though. You got to fight for what you believe in. You got to stand up for truth. If you're standing up for truth, then you need to stand up and fight for it. Like him, he doesn't need to beg because that money is his. There are several things he can do to get his money back and get his pride back and get who he is, get all that back.
Right.
Yeah,
and I guess the key is people learning how to fight. And I guess the key is people learning how to fight. For our new listeners, what is could you give the name of the foundation again?
I don't give it. It's my Sophia Stewart Law Fund. That's the name of it. The Sophia Stewart Law Fund. Yeah. When people Google me, they'll see it. And that's and right now I'm doing some legal work right now. So it would be very nice if people would go to my Sophia Stewart Legal Fund because I'm doing something now. I just did an interview where I was talking about how the government doesn't protect the people's copyrights, but they protect the studio's copyrights. And the people are being violated and being told to go to court up against a billion or hundreds of millions or billion-dollar corporations when the government is supposed to protect those copyrights because we got the same copyrights. Whatever the studios buy, we buy the same copyrights. They get protection. We need protection of the law also. Not to be told to go to court where a billion-dollar corporation or $100 million corporation use your own money to take and defeat you and steal from you. That's wrong.
Yeah, that is so true, and I agree with you 100% because it is wrong. There's a one-sided standard here. We should be afforded the same rights as the corporations. Ms. Sophia, even though it was short, but it was sweet. And I thank you for coming on the show as our special guest, and hopefully we'll correspond later down the line. Make sure I send that email so that we can get those documents over. And to all of our viewers, to all of our listeners, you've been listening to Rahchamah Conscious Couch. You've been listening to the I love you all. In the meantime, get out my cloud.